entertainment, education. Free FM has made the dedication on behalf of this new generation. Free FM 88.9.
Yes, indeed. This is how we cross over this morning and come to Beyond Boundaries. This is where we bring you some the topics that has been affecting our lives throughout the country over time. From day to day, would have experienced different experiences as it relates to certain things that has been happening. There's some need or a need that we have from time to time. We will bring you up to date and some stuff that will help you to understand where we are at as it relates to some of these matters. And so this is where we kick it off this morning right here on Beyond Boundaries. This is yours truly, the Preacher Man, right here on Free 88.9 FM, your free prison radio. Yes, my friends, just remember this particular radio station, we are on a mission. And believe it or not, here it's at.
Fostering rehabilitation, entertainment, education. Free FM has made the dedication on behalf of this new generation. Free FM 88.9.
Yes, indeed. And so we have a message for each and every one this morning. We want to talk especially to the ladies at this time. Tell you, please don't you worry, because listen, things are going to be all right. What better person to say to you than the man Bob Marley himself?
Push on through, but
Yes, and that's where it's at, my friends, as we kick it off this morning on Beyond Boundaries. And I did say to you earlier that the things that we talk about on this program are the stuff that affect us negatively or positively over time as we journey through life in this here country, Jamaica, land we love. Just remember, you're listening to the Preacher Man this morning on Beyond Boundaries. And so what we're talking about this morning, we're looking at the National Housing Trust. Yes, an entity that is set up by the government of this here country to lend money to low interest at lower interest rates to contributors who wish to build, buy or improve their houses, and also for those who wish to buy or build on their own property. And so this has been one of the legacy of governance in our country over the past years. Yes, or since independent Jamaica. Yes, I like to say it this way. Yes, from since independent Jamaica, one of the best thing that has happened in our country. However, as we go along, we'll look through a few stuff or how it has transformed or move around from time to time as it is used as a method or agent, can I say agent? Yeah, man, of giving us comfort to many people, many Jamaicans, I can say. So as we move along, we just look at a few things as we go. Yes, it speaks of the National Housing Trust, that it also develops housing schemes for sale to contributors, provides low-cost financing to private developers as well. So we see there that it is it works in a multiple of ways, because there are private people who could or can, yes, come forward, yes, having their own properties and things like that, and they could I guess apply for the rights or the opportunity to build houses and sell under the National Housing Trust Act. Yes, so we see where the National Housing Trust here is what they call strategic priorities. Yes, yeah, that there are strategic priorities of the National Housing Trust, and it goes on to say for more houses. That's one of the things that the National Housing Trust does. More houses for less for our contributors. Yes, it also sustains business viability through performance and relevance. It optimizes operation and service delivery through efficiency and customer service, and also build performance-oriented teams in terms of process, technology, and attitude. Yes, so as we study and we look through the different areas as to how the National Housing Trust does, and let me say it in a much more colloquial term, it offers employment. Yes, high level of employment it does offer. And how does this work? In the sense that when a developer is building or yes a project, what it does, the average man on the street, yes, there could be some tradesmen, yeah, who doesn't have what we call a permanent job. Yeah, there could be laborers, yeah, people who will mix the mortar, the cement, carry the different stuff that used to build the projects. Yes, so we have laborers, unskilled laborers, and we have other laborers who are skilled who does not have what we call permanent job. Yes. So it is somewhat wide and it works. Yes. It works in the sense that as long as you can offer employment, or as long as it offer employment, yes, it works. You understand what I'm saying? So the housing trust was not just there. Yes, a man go and get a house, yeah, or so on. No, it works right through. There's a multiple of stuff that we can attribute to the National Housing Trust as to how it help in the development of our country. And so as we move along, we are here informing you that we are entrusted with the mission of increasing and enhancing the stock of available housing in Jamaica, as well as providing national assistance to the most needy for our contributors who wish to build, to buy, or to repair their homes. So yes, so that's a message or a statement, yes, from the National Housing Trust. Yes, they are entrusted, yes, with the responsibility, the mission, they call it, yeah, and the enhancing of the stock, yes, of available housing in Jamaica, yes, as well as providing financial assistance, yes, because I told you earlier, as it relates to the implementation, what it does, it lends money to at low interest rates to contributors who wish to build, buy, or repair their properties. Yeah, and you will see are here as we go along, as to how the transformation, the different transformation that take place in the National Housing Trust. And as I said to you over time, that these programs that we do right here on Free 88.9 FM, we acknowledge, yes, our purpose as a media house, yes, to bring to the attention people stuff that has happened or has been happening in our society. There are people who are lacking the necessary information as it relates to stuff that are happening. Yes, and remember, you're hearing it on your Free Prison Radio. Yes, and so as we move along, we're just going to move into what we call a musical break here. Yes, and as we go along, we just want you to be a part of this conversation, this information. Just if you can write down something, you write it down, you know. Yeah. And because we are going to bring you some notes or some information then and now, but we're going to move on to a musical break. Remember, you're listening to Beyond Boundaries with the Preacher Man right here on Free 88.9 FM, your Free Prison Radio.
You're listening to Free 88.9 FM, Jamaica's #1 prison radio.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, guide us, Jaman. Oh, yeah.
Indeed, we all need guidance as we go along.
Mercy on a good man and help him. We pray, Jaman. Have mercy on a good girl and help her. We pray, Jaman. Man was made to suffer, yeah, and women were made to feel the pain. Stay by our side and guide us. We pray, Jaman. Give us all your blessings
Yes, indeed. This is where it's at, where we cry out for mercy. Yes, there's so many of us, my friends, we don't have, can't find the last or the first penny or the first dollar of each penny. Yes, to buy a house or get somewhere to live. And so we take it a responsibility this month. Just bring your attention to the housing trust and how it functions. And we learned that since in 2023, the National Housing Trust will be has increased its loan ceiling for most loan benefits. The increase will see an additional $1 million available to contributors, and it represents a 15% increase in general loan ceiling from 6.5 million to 7.5. Yes, and we learned that over the years the Housing Trust has implemented a series of new policy measures and modified its programs and procedures, all in the interest of being able to serve its contributors more efficiently, firmly committed to the customer satisfaction philosophy. Yeah, the NHT will also continue to exercise flexibility and be proactive in its drive to keep hope of affordable housing alive for its thousands of contributors. And so, as I said earlier, it is a national effort that would have been made from way back then. So what could happen, as much people as possible could be, would be benefit, you know. And so this is what our research show as it relates to the National Housing Trust. Yeah, and so it moves on, or it keep moving or fluctuate as it go along. Yeah, it is somewhat flexible, as I said. As we go along, we realize that it make itself more available to each and everyone who is a contributor. Yes, and so one of the things that we would have learned as we go along, at first, what used to happen, it would be people who are working. But as we go along in the program, I'll bring to your attention as it relates to the people who are eligible or possibly will be eligible, because even the man now who is doing his own little thing, yeah, can contribute and receive benefit from the housing trust. And so these are just some little stuff that we need to know among us, even in our little communities. And we sit on the sidewalk sometime. Yeah, I don't know if it's the right place to sit. Out by we gate. We sit in a little clique sometime. You know, we need to have these little reasoning. Yeah, and if we have these little reasoning, what will happen? It causes us to be aware of our standing as a people. So as we move along, let me just continue on this National Housing Trust thing. The genesis of this I should have bring you earlier, from 1976. Yes, it was established through an amendment of the National Insurance Act. Yes. And so we realize that, you know, from time to time, you'll see the governments of our country do some stuff, and some of the things we really lash them for, you know. Yeah, man, a lot of stuff we really lash them for and things like that. And last week I remember I was on the program and I was saying that for truth I believe that these people who are leaders of the nation deserve pay. And why did the preacher man say that? He said, boy, sometimes we really hit them hard, and much harder than they really deserve. But this is a project that has taken place since 1976, and it is very much alive and well. Yes, in our country today, and it has been doing whatever it has set out to do. Yes, there are cries and cries all over as it relates to who is now benefiting, and the level of benefits that has been reaching out are being available, yes, to a vast amount of people. And so we have to take note as we go along. We realize that the beneficiaries for the NHT loans were first selected through the random selection system. This was the first attempt, it says, to bring about impartiality in the selection process by ensuring that each applicant had an equal chance of being selected for a benefit. Richard, man, you say that? Yeah? Say it, man. And what's happening now is that there are cries all around, yeah, that not many or not all the people who deserve to be benefited are benefiting. I don't know if any truth is in that. I can't say, no, but there's cries all around that the houses are priced out of the range of the common man. Yeah, serious something, you know. Serious something that, yeah, to take note of. I don't know if there's any truth in it. Yeah, we have to look through again. So as we go along, my friends, yes, on this topic, it is very important. I'm just going to bring you on a little synopsis here where the first mortgage selection under the random selection process took place in 1976 out of July before a live audience. That time we have a radio station called JBC. You know, JBC stands for Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation. So that took place on a live radio station where the first beneficiary, the first mortgage selection had taken place. And so as we go along, we realize that in the first year of operation, the Housing Trust received applications for 23,383 contributors. Yes, 23,383 contributors, yes, applied for loan in the very first year. He said of this number, only 5,292 were selected, and another 123 whom actually took up their benefits that year later. So what happened, it is that out of the 23,383 contributors who applied for loan, yes, it was 5,292 that were selected. It says also that 193 of whom actually took up their benefits. So even though there were 5,292, it was 193 of those who took up their benefits in that year. And we learn also that the loan awarded by the benefit category in the first year of the operation were schemes, 178, while another 8 were what we call the open market home improvement, and 5 build on their own land. So there has been a variety of loans at that time. Yes, we're going to go through the whole thing again and again, and you will see if there's any changes or any meaningful change that would have taken place. And you're going to decide that, you know, not me. No, man. I'm just bringing you the information right here on Free 88.9 FM, the Free Prison Radio, you know. Yes, the preacher man giving it to you as we have it here. Yes, so go on. We said that the loan awarded, as said, by the benefit category in the first year of operation were schemes, which is 178 schemes, and 8 open market and 8 improvement loan, and also 2 and build on their own land. So the establishment of the first housing trust finance scheme was in a place called Ashley Hall in Clarendon, and Civil in St. Ann, and Lower Works in St. Elizabeth were the first 3 schemes to be marketed by the Housing Trust. And this was between 1977 and 1978, I think. Yeah, I'm almost sure. Yes. So as we go through there, it's good when we can have these sort of discussions and we can look back and see where we are coming from as it relates to certain matters, certain things, and certain operations in our country, and as it even really relates to our own sense of governance, and so on. So what we look at here, we see an history, it's a nice little historical piece, this, where we talk about the first housing schemes, to be done by the National Housing Trust in our country. And I almost believe that people are still living at these places. Civil in St. Ann, Lower Works in St. Elizabeth, and a place named Ashley Hall in Clarendon. I know Civil. I know Civil in St. Ann. I don't know Ashley Hall. I can't recall. If I know Ashley Hall, no, I don't know. I'm not sure about knowing that particular place. And so as I bring you up to date on some of the things that happens in the National Housing Trust over the year, it's a little history we're going back on as to when it was established under the first scheme, and we'll be moving into what we call now the first annual report, when it was first published. Its first annual report was published in March 31st, 1976. Yes, the National Housing Trust, it says it publishes first annual report for the financial year ending March 31st, 1976. Yes, and contributors are contribution certificates issue for the first time. The first completed preparatory work to enable it to issue certificates of contribution to its contributors for the first time. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how that one worked or how it was, as it relates to the certificates for the contributors and so on. But as we look, it's a piece of history that needs to be told and look at, in to an extent where we can talk about it, one to another, because oftentimes what eventually happen, there are people who would talk about things like this, bar talk, corner talk, and stuff like this. Yes, and when we look at the reasoning as it relates to these things, it brings us some form of joy, especially some of us who are older people. We realize that there's stuff that has been happening over the past years. Some of the things we really appreciate, some we don't appreciate. There are some that we turn a blind eye to from time to time, but we need to pay attention to stuff like this. So I'm going to move on as it relates to what we call the payments through the commercial banks. Yes, so in 1979 it is said that the trust changed its system of collection, thereby allowing the payments to the trust to be made through commercial banks instead of via the collectorates. You understand? And so when we go down now, we realize as we go along the different things. I said it earlier, not you? Yeah, man, there are a lot of changes here and there. as we go along. Yes, so we're just going to bring you another musical break. Yes, as we go along, we're going to bring you another musical break. I'm just going to encourage the hearts of each and every man. Please, just listen. And one of the things, it doesn't matter which of the program or what are the topics we are dealing with. One of the most serious things that has been happening in our country today is what we call the crime and the violence. And so we want to put a stop to it, because sometimes what happens, even the housing trust schemes that are building, what you think would happen? Bad man take a scheme, yeah man, you have man with them gun and thing, take over the scheme and decide so them are going to run it, or sometimes them get contract to it, and them don't know how to hold a trowel, Yeah, bad man do them something there too, yeah, and so on. But things has not changed for the better, yeah. And we have to give thumbs up to the authorities today who are actually saying, yo, we're building some stuff and we're putting some things in place. But listen, no Batman or no extortion thing around here. Yeah. So sometimes it happened on some of the sites that has been built by the National Housing Trust and thing. But that's not what we're about. We're just talking about the history of the National Housing Trust and how it affects us as a people over the years. And so we're going on, and we want to just say something to the youth them out there where that is carrying on. There was serious crime and violence and thing. Yeah. You're listening to Free 88.9 FM, your free prison radio. And we're telling you, stop it, believe it or not. Yeah?
Fostering rehabilitation, entertainment, education. Free FM has made the dedication on behalf of this new generation. Free FM 88.9.
With the pistol in your waist, Johnny, you're too bad.
Yeah, there's a message, Yo, Johnny, who you? Yeah, you need to stop it now.
Walking down the road with the ratchet in your waist, Johnny, you're too bad. You're just stabbing and looting and shooting, boy, you're too bad. You're just stabbing and looting and shooting, boy, you're too bad. One of these days, when the hero boy say come, we gonna run. One of these days, when the hero boy say come, we gonna run. You gonna run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock. We gonna run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock. No way. Walking down the road with the pistol in your waist, Johnny, you're too bad. Walking down the road with the ratchet in your waist, Johnny, you're too bad. You just stabbing and stabbing and looting and shooting, boy, you're too bad. You just stabbing and stabbing and one of these days, when you hear a voice say come, we're gonna run. One of these days, when you hear a voice say come, we're gonna run. You're gonna run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock. You're gonna run to the rock for rescue, there will be no rock. You're gonna run to the rock for rescue.
listening to Free 88.9 FM, Jamaica's #1 prison radio.
Yes, indeed. And the program this morning is Beyond Boundaries. And I'm committing this entire 1.5 hour talking about the National Housing Trust. Yes, yes. This is the preacher man. Yes, giving it to you. Yeah. Yeah. So we're moving on. Yeah. And we're talking about the whole development and as it relates to the National Housing Trust in our country that provides, a place and make available a place for us where we can have our own home. Yes. And I said over time there would have been complaints and different complaints as it relates to who benefit or who is getting the benefit versus who should be getting the benefits and things like that. And we can't wrong or blame people for crying out, because there are times of a truth. There is sometimes you put out your all that you have, yes, and expecting a return. Unfortunately, it is not happening, and you'd have told the line over time. I don't say this is happening in the housing trust. Just talking to you that stuff like these do happen, yeah, and so on. So it sometimes what happen? There are people who legitimately deserve or is in need of a place to stay, a place to live, in need of a benefit, and they're just not getting it. Yeah, not saying this is happening. I couldn't tell you that. No, they'll never do me that. Yeah, we have some bad experiences, but we have good ones too. So it's all about reaching out and do what is supposed to be done as we go along from time. Because if it don't work this way, they can work the other way, And I'm not talking about doing it under the table, yeah, or backdoor deal. No, not talking about that. Yeah, I don't know if that work or that has ever happened. Never hear about that. No, never hear it. Can't say it. Yes. So what I'm saying here is that there's quite a lot I think we should have known, or we should know about the housing trust, about the different entities, yeah, that operates under the government. I want to bring your attention to this as well, that the National Housing Trust is under the guidance of the Prime Minister. It operates out of the office of the Prime Minister. Now so you go. Yeah, man, do your check and find out for yourself if I saw it go. Yeah, and things like that. So we're going to move on and talk about now something that happens in the housing trust that would have learned from historically that there was a time, I think it's 1979, it gets its own what you call charter, its own charter. Yes, this act was passed in 1979. Among its clauses was the allocation of inspectorate, I said, powers to the trust officers, which would enable them to monitor arrears of contributors, effect compliance with regulations, and ensure that proper returns are made by employers on a timely basis. What end up happening, my friends, is that working and there's a thing that is called salary deduction. Yeah, and what happened now, the employers would collect from you to pay over. So what happened, the housing trust then would have given the right to monitor, yes, the deductions and all of that and so on. Yeah, there's some more to it, that I may not able to say to you, but it is important that you know all of this. that you have what it takes also, yes, to check up on your thing yourself at the housing trust, yes, to find out if your money has been paid over, that was withdrawn from your salary, because it is a percentage of your salary that would have gone to the housing trust, yes, through your employer. Yeah. So we said that it is in the 1979 the National Housing Trust Act was passed. Yes, and I said earlier that the clauses was the allocation of inspectorate powers to the trust officers, which would enable them to monitor areas of contributions, effect compliance with regulations, and ensure that proper returns are made by employers on a timely basis. Yeah, so as we move on, now we realize that there are what we call special loan facility for disabled. So you see what happened? At first, when the housing trust came into being, yeah, it was just a trust for workers, contributors. Yes, but listen what happened now. As it go along, what eventually happened now is what you call special mention has been made of a certain set of people. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, man. Wonderful, man. Yeah, for disabled people. So many times in our planning and our advocacy and negotiations, the disabled are left out of it. I don't know how we get it so wrong over time. We get it wrong sometime. Yeah. And so what eventually happens, sometimes these people are left out of the equation where they're supposed to be well in it, because listen what happened. Some of these people contribute so much even before they would reach in that state of disability. Yeah. There are people who are born with some amount of disability as well. In the same breath, these same people also would have contributed to the different development areas of development in our country. And sadly is that we would have turned our backs on some of these people because they are in the state that they are in. And I am saying when we reach the place or the point where we can say we putting together special loan facility for the disabled, to facilitate the disabled. Yes, it is very, very important, yeah, to do same. So where we see here special housing benefit policy was introduced to grant loans at concessionary rates to persons with disabilities. Now the thing is this, over time, I would have known this, that even when you're doing insurance, yeah, there would have been special rates for people with disabilities. Yes, and things like that. Therefore, I honestly believe that as we go along, yeah, we must pay some special attention to people like these. Yeah, and so on. So it is good when we would have reached that point where we said, or it is said, that there are special loan facility for the disabled, and also to facilitate the disabled community, because they are of value to us as well. Yes, so let us move on. Yeah, where we have what we call from 1982 through to 1983, what we call the new housing policy implemented under the new government's new housing policy. Yes. So where we see now, where we move down, we see where the National Housing Trust switched to a mortgage financing institution. The role of the Housing Trust was changed from that of being a provider of both mortgage and interim finance to that of providing mortgage finance only. Yes, so it would seem there then that there could have been a mortgage or rather finance, yeah, from the housing trust, but now there is what we call just for mortgage finance only, wherewith you can only use it to pay your mortgage. So we go along and we realize now that there's something that was implemented called the PEI, which is the Priority Entitlement Index and Selection System, which was introduced. Yes, this Priority Entitlement Index system was introduced to replace the what we call, I said earlier, the random selection system under the PEI, the Priority Entitlement Index. Loan financing went to eligible contributors having higher ratings within income groups, and I think this is where the point system had came in. I don't know. Yes, I can read out the thing and make a look through the whole research. It's a new mortgage payment system introduced. The graduated payment mortgage plan was introduced. The plan is intended to increase contributors' affordability for loans. It allows for lower monthly payments in the earlier life of the mortgage. It was expected to be particularly beneficial to those contributors in the lower income groups. So here we have it here, my friends, where it special attention has made to the disabled, and now we said special arrangement is now made for people with at the lower level, at lower monthly payment, lower what do you call it, salaries. Yes, yeah, yes, and also the payment would have facilitated what do you call now, those who are working less. Yeah. So as we move along, it allows for lower monthly payment in the earlier life of the mortgage. And so what happened as we go along, yeah, we come to realize that the value of the National Housing Trust, wonderful program, you know. Yeah, man, was implemented in the 1970s, I think, by the then Prime Minister at the time. I think it was Michael Manley. Yes. That was in government who had introduced the National Housing Trust. And we realize here that it has been one of the major drivers or the major contributor to the housing stock in Jamaica today. Yeah, and every government, every administration over time would have done their own as it relates to developing the housing trust and putting in place other stuff that would cause or help the housing trust to work. Yeah, man, to work. Yeah, and listen up. You know, when budget, you listen budget. I don't know if you listen budget. If you listen budget, you know, you realize that when it comes to the housing trust, you know, it's a big thing. What me say? A big thing. I mean, like it. Yeah, it's a big thing because let me say this to you: if the government can help somebody or make it easier for people to get a place to call home of their own, yeah, a big thing that, you know. Yes, man, big thing that, yeah. So if you listen budget, especially when the Prime Minister speaks or the what do you call the next one, Finance Minister, when they speak, yeah, and they mention National Housing Trust and they speak out, they make known the goodies. Yes, under the umbrella of the National Housing Trust. What? We are talking, people like that. Me too. Yeah, man, because it's everybody dream, or I shouldn't say everybody, most people. All right, most people's dream, to own a house for themselves. Yeah. So whenever time you hear the Prime Minister say Mr. Speaker or Madam Speaker we have today though. Yes, Madam Speaker. Yes, concerning the housing trust. Listen now, when the Prime Minister make that statement, everybody who never did a listen or weren't listening start listening. No. Oh, you mean? Because you're going to hear how it go where the house is concerned, Yes. Yeah. And so on. And then those behind the Prime Minister are a part of the Prime Minister or the Finance Minister, whomever. Yeah. Yes. Have them hand, set out, an alert. Yeah. Well alert and ready for knock down the desks and so on. Yes. So, there we have it, my friend, where we look at that era as it relates to the housing trust there. Here with, yes, this effort has been made to temper the thing or fix the thing away where it the lesser man, the disabled, and the lower income owners, workers, yes, will able to get a loan and are able to be a part of ownership of this here country, this little rock Jamaica land we love. Yes, yes, yeah. So after that, I think 1983 going into 1984, a little nice thing start to come, reasoning the arguments begin to come together, the implementations as it relates to this part of it begin to surface. Where I say, preacher man, where you talk? You like that too, not you? Oh, you mean me like it, yes? Yeah, because me, I what you call it, benefit somewhat from that as well. Yes, and it was at the right time, but something, I didn't know anything about it from the offset, Yeah, the first time I learned about this particular thing here, I went to a place and I hear a man talk about it. And I said, what is that? He said, do you know, say, listen, I am going to get a music, I will go in for a musical break one more time before I touch the ground on that one, because it's sort of nice, not true? So there we look through the whole thing and we see the implementation of it. Housing Trust in 1976, we look at the first annual report. Yes, we look at the contribution certificates that were issued for the first time in 1978 through to 1979. And we see where the trust completed preparatory work to enable it to the issuing of these certificates, yes, and payments to commercial banks, yes, in January 1979. So you see how much history we're getting on this whole thing. Yeah, man. And we talk about the government new housing policy which was implemented also, yeah. And as we move along, we would have seen the new mortgage payment system which was introduced, yes, and as we go along. So we're moving along nice and easy as it relates to the National Housing Trust, yeah. And I hope and trust that as you're listening, you get an understanding of what it is all about, yeah. No, you don't know this. I want to say, oh, you come up with a program like, or we come up with a program like this. We come to realize that from time to time, as man and man in our state here, we start talk about some stuff and thing and some defend and some go against as it relates, and we pass different assertions as to whether or not it makes sense. Yeah? And then we talk about from time to time what the beneficiaries versus those who had not been benefited. We talk about the contributors or if it makes sense any at all. But when I come back from the music break, we'll see if any at all it really makes sense as a contributor, because I see it as saving somewhat, a little compulsory saving, Yeah, I'm going to move off. I'm going to move off as it relates to a musical break. Remember, you're listening to Beyond Boundaries with yours truly, the Preacher Man, right here on the grounds of the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center. Yes, it is Free 88.9 FM.
Free 88.9 FM. Jamaica's #1 prison radio.
Yes, so just get in touch with a friend, Johnny Clark, and hear what he has to say to us. Yeah? It's long time music, That's one called Marcus Garvey, by the one called Johnny Clark.
Marcus Garvey. They never love for Marcus. They never love for Marcus. In one brethren, tell him to rise and peace. Them give the rise and peace. Them give like how Judas give Christ. And they didn't know there'll be time like this. And now the human race is in such a squeeze. Men like Brother Wire should be burned in fire. And women like Mother Michelle should be stoned like Jezebel. They never love for Marco. Them give when they rise and bleed. It was she and Brother Wire who gave away Yafi. And that's why they unaware around today. They never love for Marco. Them give when they rise and bleed. But away I'm Madam Moshe, so Marcus Garvey. And give when we rise and bleed. But away I'm Madam Moshe, so Marcus Garvey. And give when we rise and bleed. Men like Brother Wire should be burned in fire. And woman like Mother Moshe should be stoned like Jezebel. They never love for Marco. Give when we rise and bleed. Mother Moshe and Brother Wire end up living nowhere. Brother Wire clothes was torn off like the stars in the sky. They never love for Marco. He will rise and bleed. For Marcus Garvey. They never love
Fostering rehabilitation, entertainment, education. Free FM has made the dedication on behalf of this new generation. Free FM 88.9.
Yes, indeed. And just remember, you're listening to Beyond Boundaries with yours truly, the Preacher Man, this morning. And we are coming down. Yes, at the point you listen, Johnny Clark a while ago. Them give a Marcus Garvey for rice and peas. He said, Bagawaya for body in a fire, mother. Yo, serious something, Yeah, there's so much time over the past, over time where some of us, we stand up against each other from time to time, and trust me, and a good something we do. I don't know. Yeah, but I think the time is coming, when we'll be able to get out of the crisis. You get what I'm saying? Where we keep pushing down each other. Yeah, we need to stop it, not you? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We need to stop it, and pay attention to the more positive stuff that has been happening in our society, happening in our homes. Yeah, in our homes. Yeah, and things like that, So we move on now. We just highlight the housing trust, yes, because it's something that cause a lot of us to have somewhere where we can put we head. Yeah, man. Yes, and listen, for those of you who were inside of the prison, I'm going to say to you, as you listen, you will realize, because some of you there a long time not even paying attention to some of the stuff that has been happening, unaware of some things that has been happening. Yeah? Yes, you may never know this, that we have something start up in the housing trust from 1983 to 1984, somewhere about there. It's 84, 85, I'm not sure. But what happened? There's a thing that was called cash grant. Cash grants. Today it is called contributions refund that pay out. Yeah, contribution pay out. Now the processing of paying out of the first cash grants to contribute was made possible in things 1984. Yes, the contributors refunds becomes payable in the 8th year after the contributions are made. So the thing is this: if you are a person who has been working overtime constantly, yeah, every the contribution has been going on. So the contribution, or rather the refund that you would get, would be 8 years after that contribution was made. So for instance, now is what? 2024. So 8 years from before now would be what? Let me see. 23, 22, what again? 21. What again? 20. Yeah? So 4 years ago was, all right, 16, yes. 2016. Yes, so if you pay a contribution up to 2016, you will be eligible for a refund of your 2016 money that was contributed or that was paid over to the National Housing Trust. So as you go along, so if you as a person, for instance, you're working for years and you had never collected any of the refunds that you have or that you have contributed, let me say this: you have a whole heap of money in housing trust, Yes, and it's every January. Every January you can check on the housing trust to see where you're at. Yeah? Yes, every January you can check on the National Housing Trust. Yeah? So if you're a person who has been contributing, yes, at least some of the money inside perhaps you end up in prison long time and you leave work. When you end up in prison, you was working and contributing for years, and what end up happening is that you have never collected any. Yeah, man. So money there for you, and what happening, if you go there, and it's all of the years you never collect, you can collect all of it, Yeah, man, in spite of what has been happening, man. So that has been in place from the 1980s. Yes, from the 1980s. Yeah? Yeah, man. And so the thing is, sometimes get up and we talk some stuff that we don't know. We don't know. And it affects us, negatively too. Because one of the things that happens is that some people just talk what them think or they believe. Some stuff just come to some people's mind and they just get up and talk it, my friend. Yeah. And so on. So all is not lost, The thing is some people just sit down at home or sit on the sidewalk, sit in them little area, and they don't pay attention to what has been happening in government, or otherwise, and you sit think happen. Things like these, elude them, fly past them. Yeah. Yes. So it's a serious situation as we move along. Yeah. So I said you have what you call the cash grants and so on. A lot of people don't know about that, even though it is so long that it was implemented. So let us move along. So now. Remember, when you go, housing trust to make application now for your cash grant or your contribution refund, tell them you hear it on Free 88.9 FM and the program Beyond Boundaries with the preacher man. Yes, the preacher man tell it to you. Yes, so just tell them that the preacher man tell you. Yes, that the contribution refund is happening. Yeah, and so on. And you're reminded, if you didn't know, you never remember. Tell them you remember now. So if you never know, let them know that the preacher man tell it to you on Beyond Boundaries. Let us move along. Yeah, and as we go along. Yeah. So I come down to a part where we're talking about the introduction of priority index entitlement selection. Yeah. Well, the system I said revised to give way to the PIE system for selecting persons for NHC loan under the PIE system. Yeah. And contributors were selected for loans based on their number of contributions, their income, and their ownership of NHT owned bonds and things like that. I take time remembering the certificate now. Yes, we used to get them and we pile them up and we find out how much points we have. The NHT assets surpass the $1 billion mark now, Yeah? Mortgage credit certificate and own bonds facilities launched. Yes. And that is way back when, I think about way back in the 1988, 89. Yes. And we see where in the 88, 89 mortgage disbursement reaches the $1 billion mark. Yes. It is said that in that particular year, for the first time, the total value of mortgage loans distributed or disbursed by the trust in any one year reached the $1 billion mark. Yes. And as we go on, you realize that something else was at coming place. So as I say, all the housing trust, Mr. The housing trust, or I've seen it happening over time, is that what you call it now? Yeah, well, that improvement, the additions. I don't know if there's any they take away anything. Yeah, multiple additions take place. Yeah, and programs set up in that area. It is believed also that I think the housing trust would have set up what we call a hurricane loan program, which is yes, $50 million was approved by the Prime Minister in 1989, 90, somewhere there, 89 to 90. It was approved by the Prime Minister to provide loans to NHT contributors who were not beneficiaries but who had suffered damage to their homes in the hurricane. So those who, it says that to provide loans to energy contributors were not beneficiaries but who had suffered. So those who were not had not been benefited, yes, they didn't get any loan to buy any house. You didn't get any house, but you could get a loan to fix up your house. You remember Hurricane Gilbert? Yes, that was the time when a lot of houses get mashed up, mess up. Yeah, a lot of houses get messed up. And so what happened is that you could get loan. And I will have to check to find out if it's still in place. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. All of that was in place. I put in place, and people benefited from things like these. The housing trust returns to role of mortgage financier and developer. The trust returned to its role of providing interim financing for projects as was laid out in the Act. This was aimed at stimulating housing construction, particularly for target groups, assessing energy benefits as another strategy for increasing the housing supply. The National Housing was encouraged to undertake joint venture projects with developers in the private and public sector. So things like that has been going on. Yeah. And also I continue to talk about the special developments. You ever hear about mortgage repayment period for women extended? Decision to implement a new policy would enable female mortgagors up to the age of 65 to repay their mortgages instead of to the previous 60-year-old. So women, yeah, it was said that at certain time the women were given instead of rushing to pay off the loan at 60, you can wait, you can continue until 65, and things like that would have caused the loan payment to the payment or the monthly payment per se to be at a lower cost. Not true? Yeah, man. That's how it goes, man. Yeah. So let us continue. Yeah. Yes. So in 1990 to 1991, a special project was launched. The largest single housing project to be built in Jamaica was started at the Greater Portmore scheme in St. Catherine. Funds were budgeted in this fiscal year, that particular year, to assist in financing the building of 10,000 new units over 4 years. Yes. And so on. Yeah. So that was the Greater Portmore project. Yeah. Yes. We learned that we have what you call daily intake application intake system instituted, and this is where the contributors could just submit application for all loan types except for scheme benefits on any working day of the week. Previously, all applications, and we're talking from way back in the 1990s. So we look at the 1990s, look where we are and where we're coming from. Yeah, we look at what you call land banking. The land banking policy developed, and this is where the various income bands linked to the national interest rates of interest were revised. The interest rates linked to the income bands were also modified. Instead of 5 interest rates, with the highest being 14, the revision resulted in 4 rates, with the highest being 12 and the lowest being 2. We see also restructuring of branch operations, and this is where we talk about a new branch structure was developed to grant greater servicing autonomy to the local or regional level. Yes, we talk about implementation of ICBs, that which is called the International Comprehensive Banking System, which is operation, rather banking software package, which will enhance NHC operation, particularly for those related to the management of the loans and contributions portfolio. The system's capabilities for increasing operational efficiencies will help the trust to align its operation with the way some of the best companies in the world do business. So the International Comprehensive Banking System allows for online real-time processing. And also there was a project, a beautiful project taken on by the National Housing Trust that was in 2002. Yeah. Yes. The Housing Trust opened Emancipation Park, which is located on the former Ligani lands. We call what we call a dust bowl. We used to play football and thing. Yeah. This site features a variety of flora and bandstand, jogging track, fountains reflecting pools and emancipation sculpture. It commemorates the contributions made by their ancestors to the abolition of slavery. Yes, and I think I'm not sure. Yeah. I think the statue up there when it was first opened, only for argument with the order like that, until it was made known as to what it is and what it is all about and what it truly represents. Then people say, oh yeah, this is good, whatever. So we see we're in the new individual benefits policy. So there has been a lot of change over time and development and restructuring and reorganizing as the housing. And I believe this is one of the best things set up. I don't know, perhaps somebody have some other thing could say about it. I don't know, but from my time, and my own sense of understanding as it relates to government policy and government putting in place structure to enhance in the development of our nation, this nation, I think this is one of the best things, because it has been benefiting to just about, a vast amount of people. And what happened in every different administration would have played their part as it relates to how it works and benefit people. So we see where it's the new individual benefit policy, where the trust changes its loan qualifying requirements, reducing the period over which persons are required to contribute before applying for housing loans from 169 weeks to 52 weeks. Yeah. If it's even 10 days. Yes, individual loan was raised to 1 million, and we're talking from way back, it's not just today thing, from we talk about early 2000. Yeah, and so as we move along and we go along from time to time, what we realize that the different administrations would come in. As they come in, they would put something in place that will be beneficial, and things like that. Things are happening now that people are saying, boy, it's not really right as it relates to the pricing of the houses and things like that. But that is for another time. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm going to move on quickly because I'm running out of time. Yes. So we see also the inner city housing project. The NHT initiates a 3-year project to improve the living conditions of people in selected inner city communities. Yes, and that was like from about 2004 to going into the 2005. It says $5 billion have been committed to the rehousing of 3,000 households and the refurbishing of several other rundown communities. Yes, yeah, man. Things like these happen. Yeah, where some of these communities have been run down, and I remember some time ago there had been different views where it is concerned. People have their different views where it is concerned, and we're saying, boy, look how much people who contribute and has never gotten a house got a benefit. So it is also the defense of that, was that there are thousands of people who live and die and contribute, never get a loan or benefited, never get even a refund. So all of those monies would be available, not you? Yeah, man. So it goes into what we call the inner city housing development, housing project and things like that. And them say what drop off a head, drop on shoulder. Now so there's something set up. Yeah? So we move on till we reach where we talk about telephone banking and debit. Our credit card payment was introduced, and this was in 2004, where customers were introduced to a more convenient ways of paying their mortgage. Telephone banking allowed customers to pay their mortgage from anywhere at any time via touchstone telephone with credit or debit card payment or rather they can make a direct payment at any housing trust office, whether it be a regional office or branch or service center. Yes, and they move on to recruiting senior managements and things like that and so on. So over the years the housing trust has moved from one level to another level. Yes, and so we come down to what we call an internet-based system is now introduced for contributors refund application. So sometimes what we can do, we can apply for the money without going into the bank. Yes, or going into the housing trust office any at all. Yeah, and things like that. So as we move along, there are so many things that has taken place, and so the housing trust would have come through, coming from far. Yeah, coming from deep in the trenches and things like that. And so what happened as we go along, my friends, we see where we have been benefited over time and so on as it relates to this particular entity, the National Housing Trust. You get a lot this morning, because you don't get anything. And remember, I say when you go and apply for your refund, tell them that you hear it first. It's the first time you're hearing it and you never know. But 388.9 FM, the Preacher Man and Beyond Boundaries tell you that you can come and collect your refund at the housing trust. Apply for your housing trust money, and your the last 8 years before now is when 2016. I don't know. Yeah. So anywhere from 2016 go back, you can collect your refund for all of those years. Yeah? And so on as you go along. So this is where I plan to leave you this morning on Beyond Boundaries. And remember, listen, don't give up here, and let it be known that we are all aware, yeah, that things rough, things tough and so on. But we have a message for each and every one as we continue on this pathway. Remember, you are listening to Beyond Boundaries with yours truly, the Preacher Man, this morning, right here on 388.9 FM, your free prison radio. Until next week, when we pick up a different topic, yes, where you can do your own research and find out where we are now, as to where we were then, and you can see the difference then and now as it relates to the National Housing Trust. Blessing and honor, glory and power leave you with the man, Tyrone Taylor, this morning. This is how I'm stepping out. Blessing and honor, glory and power to the Most High.
You're listening to 388.9 FM.